Do you have a plan for how you're going to grow your team as your business develops? Or are you firmly of the mindset that you don't need to think about that now, everything is fine at this point, you will just deal with that when it happens? Because let me tell you, I talk to lots of people that do this in their business, and what they then find is they start to think about this expansion at the point where their business is becoming overwhelming, and all of a sudden there's a real risk that the business actually grinds to a halt because there aren't enough people to deliver the products or services that customers are suddenly asking for. Now, I talk to a lot of people who have left the corporate world or who have no management experience whatsoever, and they say, I don't want to manage a team. I don't want to have a big team in my business. People are too hard. Managing is just too difficult. I just don't want to do that. Now, the first thing I would say there is, so often when I dig underneath the skin of that, what I find is that that's people who had experience of a business that just isn't managed very well, that people in that organisation didn't particularly have targets or appraisals, they didn't really have clear processes in place, so actually the management, the whole management piece just wasn't done very well. And actually with some really simple processes and procedures and good management practices in place, then managing people can actually become more of a joy than a burden. So I wouldn't necessarily rule it out. Do have a think about that if that's something that is worrying you. But equally, you don't have to plan to employ people. You could plan to work with associates who will work alongside you as a subcontractor or a partner, or you could choose to outsource things in the longer term. But there's really two key things to think about. If you're kind of thinking you don't want to expand any further than where you are now in terms of team size, there's two things you really need to take into account. One is the fact that you cannot possibly be the best person at everything. You cannot have skills in every single area of running a business and delivering to your customers that are better than specialists in those areas. So by trying to do everything yourself or keeping hold of everything, you're potentially doing your customers a disservice. The other thing you will find is there will be elements to growing your business, running your business, delivering your service that are just not your sweet spot, that will take you too time, take you too long, or you just won't enjoy. You may just absolutely hate certain elements of it. So the truth is that there are those things that actually shouldn't sit with you. They are much better to sit with somebody else who enjoys them and will probably do a much better job of them. So it's absolutely worth thinking ahead over the next 6 to 12 months. What do you want your team to look like? What are the most likely functions that somebody else could do that you would actually love to offload so that you can actually keep focusing on your very best skills and delivering the stuff that really is valuable to the business? Really think about what that model is likely to look like for you. Are we talking of outsourcing? And you might think about outsourcing before you employ, so you can dip that toe in the water and you can prove what somebody else can do. Are we talking about associates and partners, or are we talking about employing in-house? Even if you're thinking this is a few months away, there is still some really good groundwork that you could do well in advance. Because what so many people do is they wait till the last minute, they wait till this is a bit of a desperate situation and then make a slightly panicked decision, which is often the wrong decision. So what you can do is plan ahead. If you think you're going to work with some associates, then start sounding out people now about whether that's a model they'd be interested in and whether you feel that they're the right kind of fit for you, so that you're confident when you then need to pass on some work or bring in a partner, you know who you're going to work with. You can start asking for recommendations for companies to outsource to. You could start sounding out one or two of those. You could start building a little portfolio of companies that you could outsource certain things to, so you know exactly where to go when the time is right. And if it's you're thinking about employing, then you could start thinking about the job role. You could start thinking about getting some processes documented to make that easy. You could start thinking about objectives. You might even start talking to a recruiter or two, getting a bit of advice about salary ranges, about how easy it is to recruit these people, how far ahead you should start thinking about it. So there's actually loads of things that you could do so that at the point that your business is ready to bring in some additional workforce, you already know what that looks like. You've planned it really well and it's going to work very smoothly and really help you grow, rather than having that blockage, panic decisions, and rushing straight into the thing that's not really right for you. If this is something you know you need more help with, please do get in touch with me at tailory.co.uk.